This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
Even that bit was so calm and it was fun. Like as I'm pushing and they're saying, well, it's because it also helps that you
the
had...
person that quoted giving birth was fun.
The most asked question is why did we name her Hunter Jayne? Like what is the story behind her name? Hey guys!
Hey everybody, how you doing today?
We are coming to you as brand new parents. We're officially at home and we have someone we would like to introduce you to.
Officially not in the hospital, at our house.
This here, wait, how do I hold you up? This is little Hunter Jayne. She's our new little baby girl. She is what's made us parents.
Place in the suburbs where we placed our minds.
And she's been so good to us. It has been so much fun the last, what, 4 weeks?
Yes, it's been 4 weeks. Today she's officially a month old.
This is crazy. Like, I feel like it was like a week ago that you were in the hospital.
I know, it is crazy. We're currently trying to get her to smile. She is so close to smiling, aren't you? You're so cute. But I thought we would jump on here because we've had so many questions ever since we shared our birth vlog and the hospital vlog, and so I thought we could do like a little, kind of like a birth story video answering all of your questions because
there was literal thousands.
It was a lot.
Also, we wanted to say thank you so much to everyone for your kind words. Like, honestly, it was so nice. Like, everyone was so supportive of her name and everyone, you know, loved watching Jess. I suppose you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, putting out like a birth video is very vulnerable, but I know, I think I just had like such an amazing experience that I wanted to share it with you all, and it's kind of nice having that memory because it's a major life event.
And it's going to be so cool when like Hunter's old enough to kind of understand what's going on, or like in the future if she's like, oh, how was I like born, and she starts asking those questions.
You can watch that. I wish I could watch mine. That would have been cool.
I know. I don't even think I have any photos. I think do you have
photos
of the actual birth?
Oh no, just of after.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've written down all the top questions and we're going to go through them today. And the first one that I thought was actually a really interesting question was someone asked, did I wish for a baby when I dropped the coin in the well in Slovakia?
Wow.
And that is such a cool question because I actually did. So in that clip, you would have seen that I dropped a coin and Stephen said, what did you wish for? And I think I said, I'm not telling. So before bed, I want to make a wish, ready? But we have to hold it together, I think.
Wait, what am I wishing for? What if we wish for separate things?
I don't know.
I'm going to wish for more chocolate mug cake.
It was chocolate lava cake? All right, ready, set, go.
Oh.
Hopefully it comes true. And I did wish for a baby, and another really fun fact is in April last year when we were in South Korea, we did a Taekwondo class, and right at the end they said that if I could chop a piece of wood with my foot and write on that piece of wood a wish, it'll come true. And I secretly wrote really tiny at the bottom of the piece of wood, I wish that I'd fall pregnant this year. And I did. So I think that was really cool.
So another very funny and popular question was, did we have a Hungry Jacks because it's the same initials as Hunter Jayne?
So if you haven't watched the birth video, my last meal request was a HJ's meal, a Hungry Jacks. And for all you Americans out there, that is what we call here in Australia Burger King. Because when Burger King tried to come to Australia, there was already a Burger King. So they couldn't use the name, so they decided to use the name Hungry Jacks. But I feel like maybe it was like a what do they call it?
What is like a subliminal
thing where I was thinking Hunter Jayne is coming, or I feel like Hungry Jacks. I don't know why I felt like it, so it wasn't on purpose, but it was a very good last meal. Yeah, and it was a great last meal. So another question was, how did I cope without Stephen during the start of labour? And if you haven't watched the video, so I went into the hospital at 10 a.m. on Monday morning and got induced, and I went into labour at around 7 p.m. that night. And because I was in the induction area, because of COVID, Stephen isn't allowed in that area. He was only allowed to come into the birthing suite once I was 2 centimetres dilated. And so once I got into labour, I laboured by myself for 9 hours straight before Stephen could come. And at the beginning of that time, you'd have seen I called Stephen and I was like, Stephen, I don't know how I'm going to like cope or handle this because I just knew it was probably going to take all night.
Oh my god, it's so bad. Now it's making me feel like I'm going to throw up.
Really?
Yeah, it's like happened so fast.
Hey Bobs, just wanted to say, such a good effort today. You were amazing. You did so well today. I'm so proud of you.
But I think the way I got through it was, I said I went into like Jess Zen mode, where what I would do is every time a contraction came, I would just close my eyes and know that it would be over soon, because contractions are kind of like a wave. So they start off slow and they build up to like the peak of pain and then they go back down. So I just knew that once I got like over that peak, it would go away. So I just breathe through my nose, close my eyes, and just kind of deal with it. Just know it'll be over soon. Just once the contraction goes away, it's easy to talk. And also, which was kind of weird, I had my contractions in my back, not my front. So every time I had a contraction, it was like really bad pain in the lower back. And so right at the end, like the last 3 hours, I went into the shower. So I ran hot water on my back for 3 hours straight, and that really helped as well.
And how painful was it? Like,
oh yeah, a lot of people asking out of 1 to 10. And I feel like for me, because remember I had an epidural after I was 4 centimeters dilated. So I didn't feel, like I didn't get into like the full blown 10 centimeters feeling. But for me, it was probably, it got up to like a 7 out of 10.
And Jess has like a big pain threshold. Like I feel like she has a way higher pain threshold than me.
That's probably how it looked like I was so calm when I was going through them, because all I would do is, this is what I looked like when I was having a contraction. I literally just had to deal with it. I like close my eyes, breathe through my nose. I said to Stephen, it was like what I do when I'm on a really scary roller coaster. Sometimes when I get so scared on a roller coaster, I go from screaming to this. So I use the same technique.
So like this is what now, I was able to come and see Jess at 3 a.m. on Tuesday. So she had already been in like the induction suite at about 10 a.m. on Monday, and then she called me 3 a.m. the next day.
And it was so funny because from the induction room to the birthing suite, of course I didn't film any of this. Once they said, oh, you're like 2 centimeters dilated, you can move to the birthing suite. I was like, awesome. And they're like, can you walk? I was like, yeah, I'll walk. And I'm walking along, and every time I'm having a contraction, I'm leaning against the wall, just closing my eyes. And then I'm calling Stephen as I'm walking and then having a contraction, going, hang on, just wait. And so, yeah, it got to 3 a.m. I called Stephen. And another question that came up during that time is, why did Stephen vomit? So you would have heard me in the video.
Yeah.
Stephen's been very good. He only threw up once. I'm proud of you, Stevie.
No, I'm proud
And
of
you
you,
feel good
Bells.
now, hey?
Yeah, I feel good.
Yay. Saying that Stephen vomited and now he feels way better. So you can explain why you vomited when
So-
you first went in the room.
Couple of reasons. Getting a call at 3 a.m. because I wasn't expecting it. I think in our head, like what was going to go on was Jess was going to get induced on the Monday, and then they were going to break her waters 24 hours later.
Yeah.
So I think I was thinking, cool, I'll get a full night's sleep. I couldn't even come and see her till 10 a.m. So like my brain was somewhere else. You get a call at 3 a.m. It's kind of like that.
From me as well.
From Jess being like, I'm in active labor, I'm 2 centimeters dilated. So
You
I'm
need
like,
to come.
oh my gosh, it's go time. And that feeling in your stomach of like, oh, you just woke up, it's like jet lag, meet with maybe hungover, you feel like sick. So then, and then on top of that, it's the mental thing of like, your wife is about to give birth. So there's that excitement, like it's a cocktail going on there. And then I drove up to the airport. But
To the airport? To the hospital?
To the hospital. So I thought like jet lag. Drove up to the hospital. But the second biggest thing is I have a phobia, like a legit phobia of blood,
Needles, hospitals.
Like...
I didn't even know if he was going to be able to stay in the room. That's how
Yes.
bad it is.
Like I think that was my anxiousness the whole time.
He
of
almost
the birth.
passed out from getting a whooping cough vaccination.
You can show those? Okay,
Yeah, you
I'll
show
put-
those
I'll put those photos.
We had to give him a lollipop to get through it.
So I think it was like feeling sick in the belly and then just walking in and it's like, cool, I'm in my fear. It's a hospital. And then on top of that, it was like the smell of anesthesia. Anesthetics. Like, you know, if you've been to a dentist, like it was just that smell. And then I think...
And also when you first walked in, I was having contractions. So I wasn't talking to Stephen. I was lying on a bed just going...
And the room was dark and I walked in and then I was like, hey Jess, how you doing? And I think she was in Jess Zen mode. So I think
I
everything
didn't talk
just
to
went,
him. He had to explain how you threw up. He walked into the room, sat down on the couch, grabbed the bucket, like grabbed the bin and just threw up in the bin. That's the first thing he did when he came into the room.
Yeah, so my H days was officially out.
And I'd been throwing up all night, by the way, from the contractions. So HJ's probably wasn't the best idea to eat.
But on the upside, you know, if you've been sick before, that it's always better out than in.
Better out than in, I always say.
And I'm so actually glad that I threw up because it just made me feel so much better.
Yeah, and I cannot believe it. He lasted
I couldn't
like the
believe
rest
it.
of the entire birth. He watched the birth.
Yeah.
Someone who is a big, huge phobia of like blood, surgery, everything, and you watched the birth. So that was really cool.
That was-
Yeah, that is why he threw up.
We just wanted to say a huge thank you to our friends over at Squarespace. They are massive supporters of our channel as well as our journey. So if you are new around here, Squarespace is the amazing all-in-one platform that allows you to easily get your dream website or blog for your personal use or for your business online quick. So some of our favorite Squarespace features include their built-in geotagging, which allows you to mark the locations for your travel blogs, as well as being able to present beautiful portfolios on their professional website designs. On top of that, you can use their powerful blogging tools that allows you to share updates, post photos and videos, and you can even get traffic updates to see what your most popular posts are and how people found it. So if you are interested in a free trial, if you just want to play around with their different designs, make sure you check out the link below. Also, if you're ready to launch, we have a 10% off code off your first website or domain purchase. Thanks so much. Let's head back to the video.
Another question was, did I regret getting an epidural, and what does an epidural feel like? Because for me, I didn't exactly know what an epidural was. All I knew is that it would help with pain, and I knew I was going to get one. Like, that was always my plan. And so once I got into the birthing suite, oh, she's falling asleep. Aww. She looks cute. Yeah, so the moment that she told me I was 4 centimeters dilated, I was like, cool, I want an epidural. And you'll see me telling Stephen, like, I'm getting an epidural, so you should go, like, get a coffee or something.
And I've organised the epidural, so I'm just waiting.
Okay.
And I already told her that when the epidural person comes, she's going to show you where the coffee room is.
Oh, cool.
Maybe you should leave the room. And then I went to the midwife. I was like, can you be my husband just for the next 5 minutes? And she was like, yes, I can beat that for you, because I knew Stephen wouldn't be able to handle it. But it really wasn't as bad as it sounds. So basically what you do is you have to sit on the edge of the bed and curl over like this, and I'm hugging a pillow and I'm just holding my midwife's hands. And what they do first is they numb you in your back, kind of like what you would do if you were numbing your
wisdom teeth, like a major dental surgery?
Yeah, so it was like a little tiny needle. It numbs your back, and then they bring out the big needle, which I didn't see. You don't feel the big needle. You just have to, the hardest part is you have to stay completely still, and you're having contractions. So that's why I was just holding onto the pillow and holding onto the midwife's hands and just breathing through the contractions. So you're not really thinking about what they're doing.
And you're saying your contractions are a 7, 8 out of 10. So then what would the numbing needle feel like?
Oh, it feels like a little tiny pinch.
So it's like a 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. It doesn't even hurt. So then once I had the epidural, I guess everything kind of goes numb from your tummy down. That's why I stopped feeling anything. But it's not like you're numb where you can't move. I could still wriggle my toes, kind of move my legs. If you pressed my legs, I could feel you were touching it. The only thing is I wouldn't know if what you're touching me with is hot, cold, sharp.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't get any more of the pain feelings, but you still can move your legs. You can't, of course, you couldn't stand up and walk. But that's the thing, you're not completely numb that it feels like you've just completely gone.
Mobility,
no, which I think was really cool. And then from there, I was able to then dilate from 4 to a 10 all day, have naps, talk to Steve, and we listened to Jack Johnson and chill.
Yeah,
and that's
it was
why,
so good. It was so chill.
And that's why I knew I wanted one, because for me, I knew it would keep me more calm.
I've had the epi and I feel amazing. I'm so ready now.
You look so much better.
I don't know, for me, if the technology and the medicine's there, and I don't need to be in pain, I feel like I want to take it, especially because I would never go and get a root canal without having numbing. Yeah, so I don't know, that's just what I
and I could
decided
personally
to do.
see the difference, Jess walking in, not even able to speak to me at 4 a.m. and then you had the epi at 5 a.m.
Yeah,
5ish, and then from there she was happy, she was chill.
I'm just so happy right now. You're just sitting here smiling.
She didn't start pushing until 6 p.m. If it was that same 9 hours that she had already gone through without any pain medication to then do that for a further 13 hours without it,
it would have been crazy. So I'm glad I got it.
But it was a nice day.
Scary.
I think we both had a nap. I think I set up the bed. Mm-hmm. We just listened to Jack Johnson all day. We just chatted. Which
goes to another question, is everyone said, was it as calm as it looked? And it was so calm. And even when it got up to the part where she was like, you're 10 centimeters dilated and it's time to push, even that bit was so calm and it was fun. As I'm pushing and they're saying, well, it's because it also helps that you have...
the person that quoted giving birth was fun.
But it also helps that you literally feel no pain. It's you feel the pressure of the contractions pushing her down, but no pain to go with it. So every time a contraction came, I could feel the pressure of her head. And it's so exciting because then I've got Stephen and my midwife, who was amazing, saying, oh my gosh, I see her head, and being so supportive that part was amazing. So fun. But again, another question is, how long did you push for? And I almost pushed for 2 hours.
Well, it's 5 to 6, June 2nd.
5 to 6, okay. So
definitely having an evening baby now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the issue is that after pushing for almost 2 hours, I realized that I've got quite a small birth canal. and so her head just wouldn't get, there's like a little bend, I guess, where they need to, her
Like
head needs to get,
it,
get around the bend to crown, and then you can push her out. And I've got quite a small birth canal, so she just was not coming out. And that's why in the video I say,
that was so dramatic. Oh my gosh.
Dramatic entrance into the world.
after I gave birth, because in the last 10 minutes, I suddenly had 4 doctors come into the room and tell me, okay, you've got a really small birth canal. I'm not too sure if she's going to come out. So then they ended up having to do an episiotomy and use a vacuum, which like kind of attaches to the end of her head, and suck her out. And they said that if I don't get her out in the next push, it's going to be an emergency C-section, because they were worried that she was going to get stuck down there and she wouldn't be able to get out. So they did the episiotomy, they put the vacuum on her head, and I pushed, like it was the hardest I ever pushed. Like I thought my head was going to explode. I was like, I
think
need...
she gave you 3 pushes. It was like push, and then she was like,
with the next contraction, we have to deliver your baby.
You get her out on this one, or it's a C-section, and Jess was like, oh no, I'm pushing.
And I pushed so hard, and then they were like, oh my gosh, I see her head, and they were able to get it out, and I was like, thank goodness. So they got it out, and
because you started pushing at, I think I said just after 6 in the video,
and she was born at 7:44 p.m.
which is crazy.
I know, but
so
it felt like I
long.
pushed for like 10 minutes though. Like in the moment, time goes so fast when you're pushing, and it's really, really exciting, especially if you don't feel all the pain. But that's why, it sounded dramatic at the end, because I just couldn't get her around the bend, but luckily they were able to get her out for me, and then she was completely healthy, it was all fine. And then she was here. That moment of when they first put her on my chest, because I hadn't slept all night.
You hadn't slept, yeah.
And you could just see in my face, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so tired, and she's finally here. And there was that little stressful bit at the end. And that was probably that's like the best moment of my life, when they put her on my chest. Okay, not gonna cry. I cry too much, not gonna cry. All right, let's move to the next question. Oh yeah, and this was another question that a lot of people ask, is how do I feel about birth now that I've actually experienced it? And would I do it again? And totally, like even I said to Stephen, like the moment I had her, I was like, Steve, I would do that all again. Like it did not scare me off at all. I think it was like an incredible experience, and being able to, like it's kind of crazy, you made life. Like I've just created a brand new human into the world. Wait, she's falling asleep. Right, let's see if I can see. Look at her, she's so sleepy. Okay, back to sleep. Like, what an amazing experience. And now, she's all ours to keep, and she's just the sweetest little baby. I just love her so much.
Another question you guys had was, do you think going through pregnancy and birth has made you guys closer? And I think the biggest example I can use is that when we got married, a lot of people would think or would say like there would be this extra love that would come out. And yes, our wedding day was amazing, but I feel like we loved each other.
It didn't feel different.
Yeah, we loved each other just as equally as we did the day before our wedding. Of course, wedding was amazing, but I think when Hunter came into our life, I think
it feels different.
There's like this extra love that was just, and now we're getting sappy, just like locked away. And it does, like I feel more love for Jess, and I feel like all this love for Hunter.
It feels different. I said now it feels like what I expected marriage to feel like.
I would say so.
Yeah, which is really cool.
And it's not to like say that your like relationship like needs to have a baby to be the ultimatum, but it was, I don't know, that's just our experience. Maybe because we have been together for a very long time. That's it.
I'm getting all sappy now. And she just is, she's so sweet. And the last question, the most asked question, is why did we name her Hunter Jayne? Like, what is the story behind her name?
Because as some of you worked out that we had picked her name out for
10 years ago is when we chose her name. So I guess I'll tell you the story. So first of all, for my whole life, I've absolutely loved really like strong female names. I really like gender neutral names for girls as well, as you can tell by the name Hunter. And it was like 10 years ago, I was about 20.
Yeah.
And my mum was watching a show called Bold and the Beautiful. It's like a show that she used to love. And one time I was watching the credits, and there's this one character on there called Taylor, and the actress's name is Hunter. And when I saw that in the credits, I was like, wow, I've never thought of Hunter for a girl before, but I absolutely loved it. Thought it was like, I know, it's like really strong and powerful sounding.
Yeah, it's a really like powerful, strong name. And we absolutely love it.
And so then I told Stephen, I was like, oh, I love the name Hunter for a girl. And he was like, wow, I love that too. And he was like, okay, if we ever have a girl, if we ever have a baby, let's call her name Hunter. And ever since then, I've always known that if we have a girl, her name's Hunter. And the moment that we opened up the envelope, when we were finding out the gender and saw it was a girl, straight away we were calling her Hunter. We just knew she was
if we had a boy, because initially we were thinking we were going to have a boy, we wouldn't have used the name Hunter.
No,
we
Hunter
had a
for us.
completely different name picked out.
And when I hear the name Hunter, I only can picture a girl. And that's probably because I've always thought of a girl as Hunter. I don't know, that's just how I felt.
And then of course the flip side is because it's such a strong, powerful like first name, we needed a more like feminine middle name to like balance it out. So it's Hunter Jayne.
But I also knew that if I was ever gonna have a girl, her middle name was gonna be Jane, ever since I started dating Stephen. And that's because my sister's middle name is Jane.
And my sister's middle name is Jane. So it's kind of cool to connect the two aunties that way.
Yeah.
And like kind of keep a bit of legacy, like our two families joined together, because of course we've joined our surnames Parry and Valentine to make Parry Valentine. So it's nice to kind of connect.
And like having both our sisters be a part of her.
And then we really like the unique way of Jayne, because I think a lot of names is Jane.
Yeah, I like
and it was
the Y.
So funny when the Amazon product, like the wrong Amazon came in and it was Jane Austen. That was not planned at all, I promise you. But when so many of you were like, "Oh, is the name Jane? Is this a hint?"
Yeah, I was like,
what?
Because it like kind of was a hint in the end by mistake. But I just think it's so nice that both of our sisters can be like a part of her.
Yeah, and they both loved it. Like
and Hunter Jayne I think goes so well together. Little Hunter Jayne, Parry Valentine.
Little Hungry Jacks.
Little Hungry Jacks, little HJs. But I hope that answered all your questions. She is still very sleepy, but I'll give you guys another little lookie.
And of course, if you guys had any other questions, I know this was so specific to the birth, leave it in the comments below and maybe we can answer some of your questions below.
Yeah, but after this, we did film our first proper week at home with a newborn, so that's going to be the next video. So you can see what it was like when we were first, like, I guess, learning the ropes of parenthood.
And not being, like, in the hospital.
Yeah, and not being in the hospital, but she's been such a good baby. We've been so lucky. She loves her night sleeps.
So thankful, she fights her day naps.
Yeah, she just wants to stay awake with us all the time. So this is weird, her being asleep right now. Like, I'm like, wow, you're being very good for us right now. But usually in the day, she's like, I want to stay awake with you guys. I don't want to go to bed. And then at night, she's like zonked out all night, which is amazing. We're very lucky like that.
And we've done some like photo shoots with her. We're like, we want those cute, newborn, sleepy face. She refuses. She's like, I want to be awake. What are you doing? Let's hang out.
Yeah, what are we doing now?
If we want to do those sleepy newborns, it would have to be at like 3 in the morning when she wants that.
Yeah,
because she's just zonked out.
That's when we want our sleep, so we're not going to be doing that. And also she loves going on adventures. We've been taking her along with us whenever we go out and have our coffees or going walks along the beach. We've also been like kind of travel training her. So she's been loving the car seat, loving the pram. We just got her.
She's so good. She actually sleeps better during the day when we are out.
Out, yes. Rather than being inside, because we're actually doing something. And then she's like, oh cool, I'll have a nap now. And we just got her a travel cot ready for some upcoming trips. So she's definitely going to be our little adventure baby. And
yeah, because we're getting
so good.
The travel itch a little bit.
Oh my goodness, we are getting the travel itch. Ever since she turned a month old, I was like, maybe we can go on like a little local getaway before she goes and gets her 2-month checkup. But oh, she's just so cute. All right, we'll say bye. Say bye-bye.
She is gone. This is not normal.
She's fast asleep.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you are new around here, please hit subscribe and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.